Welcome to the Wednesday Match Play, your weekly connection to the biggest and best brands in golf. On this show you will learn more about the latest golf fashion trends, hear from LPGA and PGA Tour players, get advice on planning your next golf getaway, and much more. Broadcasting live from Palm Desert, California, now on the tee, Ricky Potts.
Gabe has tested hundreds of putters on this show, but these might be the most beautiful, best crafted, and best balanced putters he's ever tested. Head over to letsplaythrough.com. Gabe got his hands on the My Victo line of putters. Not only designed, but also fabricated in Switzerland. Before he takes these out on course, let's take a closer look.
Experience the spirit of St. Andrews with Eden Mill. From our award-winning gins and whiskies to our craft beers, every sip tells a story of Scotland's rich tradition and modern innovation. Handcrafted with passion and precision, Eden Mill is more than a drink. It's a celebration of heritage, flavor, and the art of distilling. Perfect for toasting life's moments, big or small. Discover Eden Mill today and raise a glass to Scotland. Eden Mill, raise a glass to Scotland. Learn more at edenmill.com.
Hare of the Dog is a hydration and recovery brand that offers electrolyte drink mixes to help you bounce back after late nights, drinking, or long days. Inspired by the phrase, Hare of the Dog, it promotes rehydration and wellness as a smarter way to recover and get back to your routine quickly. On this episode of the Wednesday Match Play podcast, brought to you by Eden Mill St. Andrews, Shawn talks about the name behind the brand, how he got started, and how he decided what ingredients to include. We dive into his competitive advantage and meet the team helping bring this vision to life. We also cover free samples, his return policy, his time in the majors, and what's ahead in terms of growth. It was a rehydrating conversation and an honor to have Shawn on the show. Let's tee off. I am pumped for this conversation for a few reasons. One, I just met this brand just a few months ago in Southern California at the CMAA World Conference. The product is incredible. The marketing is spectacular, and they're just kind of getting started. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. But Shawn, welcome to the Wednesday Match Play podcast, brought to you by Eden Mill St. Andrews.
Perfect, Ricky. Thanks so much. Yeah, CMAA was actually our first intro into the product space at all. You were it. Yeah, it was day one of, I guess, the world finding out a little bit about Hare the Dog.
No kidding. Well, I was walking around the showroom floor there at the World Conference in Anaheim. We'll talk about Disney here in a second, but I walk around the showroom floor. It's a couple of days, and I just kind of strategically look for the friends and colleagues that I know on the floor. But when I see brands like yours pop up, I walked over, talked, got a sample, and just had an awesome conversation, which is what led us to this. So very excited to have made that connection. And did you have a good time at the World Conference? And did you get over there to Disney and see Mickey?
I didn't see Mickey. It's kind of a last minute thing we did. We live here in Los Angeles, so necessarily, I've got 10-year-olds, and we've hit that place many times. And then, funny enough, from the first marriage back when I was living in Lakeland, Florida, of all places, was Disney World, and so I went and saw that. So no, we focused mainly on the CMAA conference, and I just heard about it from my private, my country club general manager, who told me about it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I need to kind of maybe look into it. And that's where, after realizing exactly what that conference was all about, I'm like, okay, our team has to be there. And it turned out for a great success for us.
Well, that's awesome, and I'm not too far from you. I was actually just in Santa Monica a few weeks ago at the Beach Club, and there's a good chance I know your GM. What club are you at in LA?
Yeah, it's Wilshire Country Club. So Daniel, I'm sure you know Daniel. Yeah,
I know. You want to know what's so funny about knowing Daniel? And I talk about just speaking at the Beach Club. So a couple of folks from his team were in the audience at that presentation that night at like 9:30. Daniel calls me and he's like, "Hey, my team's raving about you. What are the chances of that, man?" I'm gonna text him as soon as we're done here. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's been spectacular. I mean, out of respect for the club, I haven't introduced Hare the Dog, formally to the club itself. But he has been a great advocate for it. And obviously, a lot of the members of the club use it, and a lot of the membership uses it. But you get that fine line a little bit, right? Where we'll definitely be in the member guest. We'll definitely probably be in Wilshire Country Club without question. But out of respect for Daniel, I don't want to put him in a tough position. He loves the product. He supports the product. But you know how it goes. If you let one member have their brand in there, then who knows what else comes by.
Well, I appreciate you doing that, and then yeah, it's just a matter of time. If he's seen it, he's tried it. I'll make sure to pass along my my well wishes to that. But the idea,
Absolutely.
where does an idea like this come from, and how long have you been working on bringing this to life?
Obviously with the name, and just synonymous with golf, early morning golf, it obviously has hit many of my buddies day in day out. Every single morning we go play. Hey, I need a little hair of the dog. I need a little hair of the dog, and so it pops in the mind, pops out of the mind. I'm like, oh man, you know what? Obviously with my name, I need to do something, and it kind of in a short 48-hour period. Sitting with the head of golf, Rick Riley. I don't know if you know Rick over our club, and he was just sitting there talking to a buddy, and my buddy just looks at me and says, when are you going to do something, with your name, Hair of the Dog? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been thinking about it. He goes, you got to do a clothing brand. I'm like, no, it just doesn't feel right. So didn't really think much of it. And I was taking clients out. I'm actually, running the investment firm as well. Um, and was taking clients out late one night and just really whining and dining and doing all the things. And next morning had an early 7 a.m. tea time and just, was stumbling in there and it just said, ah, I need a little hair of the dog. And I'm like, that's what I need to do. And so that kind of was the start of it. That was just that short 48 hour got the entrepreneurial spirit going. And so I just started, diving knee deep into it about, okay, what is this whole, because I knew the electrolyte space was a big space. I knew it was growing and that's okay. I think that's where we're going to play. And so decided to play right there at that moment. And that's how it became about.
Well, that's great too, and I mean the fact that your last name is Hare. Now it's not Hair, it's
Right.
Hare. But well done there for that branding.
Well, it's funny from that standpoint, and you want to add another layer to the funniness. So it's the fact that yes, Hare is a bunny. I was born on Easter. Now you really can't make that up. So the odds of that are a gazillion to one. So yeah, it definitely was an angle. So when you started looking at it, and everyone doing Hair of the dog, there's many people that have tried different variations, tried different things, not necessarily in the electrolyte space, but in other things, bars. And it became a natural fit to say, okay, let's look at the hair itself and let's look at the dogs. Obviously, you're feeling very doggy in the morning. You're feeling very, and so that's kind of how that started to play out. And that's how I started to say, oh, let's make the hair really cool. Can it be, brand, can he be a James Bond type guy? Can he be something really interesting? He's the fix it guy. He takes care of things. And wow, a bulldog always looks like they're asleep and terrible. Okay, let's start with that. And that's kind of how this little thing started initially, and it was basically step one.
Well, the branding, like I said, is spectacular. We'll talk about that and the artwork that you're producing here. But the you really just officially launched on May 1. How long have you been working toward that launch, and why did you choose that specific date? And pretty wild, you were born on Easter. Like that's just all coming together now.
Yeah, it is. It makes it seem like this was supposed to be for sure, but really May 1, it was. I can't say that was always in the cards. Some of this just came down to when we felt great with the all the packaging, when we felt great with the logo, when we felt great with the formulation, all the things started to come around. And we actually at CMAA, we were telling a lot of the GMs that we could have product in their hands April 15th. So that we always were saying that e-commerce was probably going to come 15 days later than when we got the stuff to the GM and to the actual country clubs, and that's basically how May 1 came about. We did hold our promise to get stuff to the clubs April 15th. So there's clubs that have it in hand. There's member guests that have already used it. So it is just starting, and we've actually slowed down a little bit of the talking to people just because to make sure that our first step is a correct step. And so far, it's worked out very well for us.
Well, this is an electrolytes and recovery pack for someone that's outside this space, and it is becoming popular. I feel like you see that everything has got electrolytes in it anymore, even water at the grocery
Yep,
store. But for someone that's
sure.
outside that space, where do you even begin to explain what the ingredients are, and how do you, as the one developing this product, know which ingredients to include?
Well, at this point, I'd like to say when you start doing the research, what I basically was seeing, and at this point was noticing that it looked as if it became a price point issue, and everyone was fighting for the same price point. Hey, I got 20 sticks for $25 or whatever it might be, and they were all fighting in the same level. And I said, I really don't think that I want to be competing in something like that. So just to have a no differentiation other than, hey, our price point is cheaper. I said I don't want to play in that. And then I started looking at the detox world and those particular, well, liver detox or all these other things. I said, well, I don't want to be in that space. So why don't we play in the middle? And when you started to do homework on it, there was really no one kind of headed in that recovery space, in the rally space. They were sticking primarily to the hydration. And at this point, I was going back and forth, and my head of marketing, who I think you met, Jenny Stalkup, is a registered nurse and deals heavily in the medical field, and was saying, well, there's some good liver function uh, things out there. NAC is wonderful. It's all the wonderful massive properties and antioxidants for your liver. You got DHM, you got milk thistle, and it started to kind of build itself from there. And so we looked at it and said, this is a space that's not really been looked at. And obviously, with Hair of the Dog, people lean into it's a hangover recovery, it's this and that. And while we're leaning into it from a name standpoint, we want people to understand that everyone's hair of the dog is different. I mean, I know you on day 4 at the CMAA, even if you didn't drink at all, you had to show up the next day. So your hair of the dog might have been different than somebody that did party, but you were there the next day. You were the rally person. And that's the combination of how the branding came about, how the thought process came about, how the ingredients came about. We were a step up, and we wanted to be in that recovering rally niche that no one really was hitting on.
Well, like you said, there is a lot of competition in hydration. Matter of fact, I just bought a whole bunch of these hydration drinks from Prime. It's one of the brands. I mean, there's dozens of brands on
Yep,
the store shelves. But what are
yep.
some things that set Hair of the Dog apart from everything else that's out there? I mean, obviously the ingredients that you're using, but the marketing too. I mean, it's just I'm so impressed with what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's obviously a very crowded space, and it is something that I think when we were saying we feel very comfortable with the ingredients that we have. We're high end ingredients on each end. I mean, even kind of dealing with some of the potassium issues that we had, and it's like that. If you use a low end potassium, that becomes so we made. We were really making the high end choices with the ingredients, and that was a nice first step for us. I was like, okay, that's great. What I also noticed though is everyone's playing to the same people. And what I mean by that is all the coloring was the same in the marketing. It's all blue and waves and the sea of the water and a lot of this and without naming names, but you saw a lot of the same marketing. And behind the scenes, the funny thing is obviously my friends and I would be drinking are using, before we came about, they're using the liquid IV or the drip drop or any of these things for basically a morning recovery hangover, right? And so I started saying we're going to play on the edges. We're going to play where no one's playing. We're going to go attack the fun space. Not always meaning that you're drinking, but life is hard. Life is no matter if you're a 3 day music festival person listening to music. If you're at a wine long 3 day wine, if you happen to be a mom with 4 kids, you're struggling the next day. So we're going to play on life, the struggles of life, and how people, no matter what it is, construction, anything, we're going to laugh at it, we're going to rally, and we're going to go. And so that was the premise, which is, I guess, similar to Liquid Death, what they did with the just bottled water, right? They took an opposite approach of it being the best thing in the world, and Liquid Death, water can kill you. So we were on the edge, uh, playing in this space, saying, hey, we know life's tough, we know this is, but hey, come rally, you're the hardcore person, you're our customer.
Rehydrate, recover, rally. We'll talk about rally in a second. That's a word that just means a lot to me, and I'll explain why. But such a strong lifestyle-driven message. How did that core philosophy come to life when you were building this brand?
I think it's almost the chicken or the egg. It kind of was just where it all ultimately was heading. It was heading to something more than just your morning drink. It is something became um, more of just it's more of just something that like, oh, drink this, drink that. It's a type of person that we're really trying to create a structure and a brand behind it. And so when you start to look for keywords or start to look at something, again, rehydrate is obviously the first one. And then recover. Okay. So yeah, I keep kind of going back to different philosophies, but somebody that has been a tough night or has to wake up early, they're in the recovery mode. They're just kind of like, okay, here I go again, no matter what my day is. Construction at 5 in the morning. Okay, great. I'm going to get something. And then you're going to rally, and this will help you get to that next point. And so um, there are people, as we all know, no matter what form of life, that have obstacles come up, but there's certain people that the second, the third, the fourth day, and we're all doing the same thing. They're the ones that are still there. They're the ones that you see leading the charge, no matter what fashion of life. And that's how this came about. This is a rehydrate, recover, rally. You're that person. You're day three. You're that person. You're the member guest. You're that person. And so we are trying to become a brand, more of a brand than just a particular individual product.
That word rally. So Dr. Rob Bell, he was episode 500 of this podcast. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him forever, and he has a book that he wrote. He's written several, but it's called Puke and Rally. And he's the kind of guy that will say, "Hey, it's Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to go run 100 miles. Be right back." And he's just on another level. But his whole thing is that when you're running a marathon or when you're doing something in your life or your career, that when you get to that point that you puke, but then the importance of the rally. And it's interesting that that word popped up, and then I think of him because of the title of that book. But I think that what I'm finding most interesting is that it's not just about the nights after drinking. My wife and I, you talked about those music festivals. We went to an after party not too long ago at Coachella, and it didn't start until 2:30 a.m. So obviously there's the do you nap and wake up, or do you stay awake? And if you stay awake, how do you train your body? When do you take the caffeine? So there was a science to that, but I kind of wish I had some of this stuff whenever I was staying up late, and we didn't get home till 5 a.m.
No, it is, and it is without question. It is part of a lifestyle. It is. We are targeting individuals that, to your point, will figure out a way, and it is something. So as it, some of it just came out of happenstance. I mean, we had obviously we're looking for hair of the dog, right? And we're looking for, oh, that's going to be our website, and we found out it was taken. There's no way around it. And so then we just said, hey, well, we have these different ideas. We have these different things. So hair of the dog life, it transcends into an individual, just a drinking person. Are we leaning into it initially? Absolutely. We're leaning into because that is the term that everybody knows, the hair of the dog. But as you'll see in some of our marketing, we say that everyone's hair of the dog is different. But no matter what it is, with the immunity stuff we're doing, with the vitamins that we're providing, with all the natural good ingredients, whether you ever drink or not, this is going to help you. This will make you feel a little bit better. So, and it's been well received. It's just so far the word's not out. It's not out there completely.
Well, I love the logo. I would almost say it's cute, but it works, right? How many designs did you see before you selected that one?
There was many. There was many. I mean, we went through an awful lot. Never say we, as basically Jenny and myself were the ones going back and forth trying to do a lot of different iterations of it. You start looking at the HOT or as HOTD. It's like none of that works, and we started doing. And so we had a couple. We actually, believe it or not, we actually have a morning after Legends line of product that's not released yet. It's not anything, which is really leaning more into the hangover. It's actually it actually has a martini glass with some ears and a tongue hanging out. So, but that's more of our hardcore. This one we thought was a little bit more to the everyday person. It was cute. It's neat. It definitely has some character to it. Again, playing on the edges. We're not playing down the middle with the ocean waves and things. So we are definitely edgy for sure.
Let's talk a little bit about your team. Tell me more about Jenny and Shannon and Andy and the rest of the group that's helping bring this brand to life.
Yeah, it's but that kind of all happened. So I got Jenny involved from a marketing standpoint. Found out, her name and reputation. So definitely want to bring her on board from marketing. It is basically Jenny, myself, and then we had some people help us. We found some great work. Believe it or not, in Upwork, we found 4 or 5 great, wonderful people helping us with videos. So two of them have in Nigeria have been amazing for you know our back end, dealing with some of the social media and just getting on board there. So that was lucky. Shannon is my sister. So Shannon has a long career in sales, national sales, dealing with Cole Haan, dealing with VF Imageware, and runs large major national accounts. So we're putting her in charge of, I guess, the day-to-day ops on the country clubs. So she will be the name, the face. That would be very instrumental in growing out the country club area. Jenny, obviously, tremendously successful in her own path into marketing, has been the day-to-day person as far as making decisions on logo, on website, on some of the things, the fun things that you see on the website. Uh, Again, with formulation, and then Andy, my sister's husband, is a major COO. So we brought him on to help us on our back office and just coordinating everything and making sure everything from day one starts out properly and is all through the vertical. So some of it was luck for sure. I mean, to have just someone like myself take on the executive on leadership, and then Jenny was the marketing, and then Shannon was a good vertical in sales, and then Andy was back operations. So that happened to be very lucky for us, but it did create a strong team right off the bat.
What about samples? Can I try it somewhere before I commit to buying it, or is it just a commit? I mean, I know I'm going to like it. I mean, obviously, I mean, I've had the chance to try it, but do you offer free samples? And if so, where can I go about learning more on that?
Yeah, it seems from the sample side, right now it's heavily it's going to be on the golf course. There's a lot of free samples on a lot of the golf courses. We do have a morning after package that we've gone back and forth. It's not officially to the retail space yet, but we might do something along those lines. We want to be very careful as just to say, hey, this is a lifestyle. And this is we may not be for everybody, but it is something we want to try to make sure people have an opportunity to taste it, to do it. I mean, our refund policy is right up there with some of the best, is 30 days if you don't like it. So yes, you may have financial commitment to it, but if you don't like it or something, we will refund your money. Obviously in this day and age, you want to be playing in the right space with that. Member guests, they're all over. So if you play golf, give us a year, you'll probably be tasting some free samples somewhere at every member guest, hopefully around the country.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I got a couple of ideas too about, I mean, talking about the Golden State chapter of CMAA. But before we dive into that, where are you currently selling this stuff? Do I buy it at a store? Does my club carry it? Can I get it through my club? Do I buy it through the website? Where's the best place to get a hold of it?
Yeah, I mean, so funny enough, we weren't even looking at anything retail, to be honest. We weren't heading down that path initially at all. Um, and we were basically just going to start e-commerce. And when Daniel told us about CMAA, and I said, okay, this would be a good entree into it. This would be something to really look. And so that was the initial path. So from a standpoint of where can you buy it? You'll be able to buy it starting next week through our website. And that will be, starting May 1st, will be through the website, hareofthedog.life.com. Amazon and TikTok will probably run about 2 weeks later, probably May 15th. We kind of like to stagger the start out. And then hopefully you'll be able to buy it retail at a lot of different country clubs. That's going to be the main thing. And that's where we're looking there. But no, I don't really want to head into the grocery stores. I don't want to head into CVS. And um, not that I don't eventually want to head there, but I think we want to learn to walk and then jog and then run. And so the way the team is set up, we're very lean and mean. We may head down that path, but I think a distributor potentially may find us first before us trying to go, just seek them out. So we're going to stay narrow. We're going to stay e-commerce, and we're going to stay in the country clubs, as that's going to be the best way, I guess, to find it at this point.
You talked about that return policy. Obviously, if I buy a bag and I open it, you're not going to be able to return that. But what is the policy and what are some options that in case, I mean, I'm not going to, but in case I buy it and it doesn't work or I don't like the flavor?
Yeah, there's always that. I mean, we have a 30-day return policy, and it's something that is when we're putting this together, that's an important part. We want everyone to taste it, but we do know that we're a little bit of higher price point, so we necessarily don't want to be something that they can't feel like they can return it, can't get it back to us. So, 30 days delivery, we'll make it right for you, no problem. Give you store credit, we'll give you a full refund, whatever your discretion is at that point. So we want to make sure we're very customer friendly on that level.
Your website has a lot of great content. I can only see that growing over time. Tell me more about the rabbit hole.
That was Jenny's. I mean, a lot of these things that she has come up with have been brilliant. It's just fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun stuff. Free downloads. It's got coloring pages. It's got printables. It's got all these different things that she has just taken on herself and it has grown and people love it. I mean, I was looking at it, I'm like, okay. I mean, the one thing I guess that I really from a leadership standpoint is if somebody is really good at what they do and they have a strong feeling about it, then I let her run with it. So the rabbit hole is hers. I mean, I can't take any credit for that, but people have loved it. People have thought about it and said it's great. So I think we're going to keep building that out. So any suggestions would be wonderful.
Well, I actually do have a suggestion. You mentioned the coloring pages, so pretty sure I'm going to print off Spike and color him this weekend. So that's pretty fun. You should turn that into like a contest where people can print it off and submit their work and win a prize. That could be fun. I mean, you've got some really cool graphics on there.
We are. I mean, for sure. We're going to do without question. We're going to have some things along the coloring along those lines. We have a morning after legends group where people basically, again, you day three, right? You're day three at the festival, whatever it was. You're showing a little hair of the dog rallying at the festival, the party that starts at 2:30. We're going to have submissions in for that too. So when you're creating your own hair of the dog, we're going to give, you know, pretty much we're going to say, hey, you're going to win line of free product. You're going to win clothes. You're going to win, logo stuff. You're going to win different things. So I think we're aligned on that for sure. And I think the unveil will happen over time. But yes, I think what you're saying and the morning after legends, we have a lot of very fun, cute ideas lined up.
So who's behind all this graphic design? Like, there's some really incredible stuff. Just, I mean, the photos and the videos, and I mean, some of it's. Are you using AI for any of this?
We're using AI almost completely, and the reason we're using AI is just the turnaround capacity of it. You know, I, when we first started this, Jenny and I were almost saying this feels like AOL. And there's some things in AI that worked really well, and then some things that just were really slow. And video was very slow, animation was slow, just even putting together a logo or something was very slow. But we were able to keep at it, and AI kept getting better. So I guess the brains behind it are Jenny and myself as far as the design, the caption, the way the characters were, the way we wanted them to look, and and then we had some people out of Vietnam that were able to help us as far as if they're designing from a standpoint. So, but without the thing that AI was so incredible is just the turnaround time. How quickly you could have something. Oh, I don't like that. Redo this. I don't like that. Do this. I don't. Okay, yes, that's great. Okay, and then you get it 98%. Then you maybe send it over, across the pond over there and get it finished. But it is something that you use a combination of yourself, ask the right questions, your leadership asks the right questions, put the right idea of what it is. AI works on it, and then you may have a team, over wherever you do and finish product.
Well, there are quite a few ingredients in the formula. I mean, obviously, it's safe to drink when I'm drinking, hence the name and the brand. But of all those
Sure.
ingredients, like, how do you even know, and how do you know how much goes into it? And did you have a scientist working on that, or just kind of how did the actual ingredients in this stuff come together?
Yeah, this is again probably the brainchild of Jenny more than anything. I mean, we obviously were putting together a lot of the vitamins, the minerals. We're putting the B1, the B6, the B12. We're putting all that together. And then she was the one leading the pack on the DHM, the NAC, the L-theanine, the milk thistle, the pink Himalayan salt. She educated me. To be honest, I didn't necessarily know myself some of these particular items, but she's in heavy into cancer as far as in the marketing standpoint. So her Rolodex is second to none. And so we had some of the top doctors around the country who were able to put their 2 cents in on things, is to say, no, you want to kind of stay in this amount, you want to stay here, you want to do this, do that. We were going back and forth a lot. The biggest thing with a lot of these things is the salty taste, aftertaste. And so we were really cognizant about that because we felt they all had some aluminum flavor to it or some aluminum aftertaste. And that was one of the major things that we wanted to try to eliminate. So I think using the higher end ingredients, the quality ingredients, you don't have quite as much of the salt or after salt taste. And that's just some of the things that we were lucky. I mean, to be honest, we were lucky in the fact that we used the high ingredients. It started to actually take away some of the aluminum taste, and it just came out wonderfully. And we were very impressed and very happy with the way it ended up tasting, the final formula.
Well, for those of us that are watching our weight, now granted, I'm going to drink this after I've been out for a night partying and drinking too much alcohol, potentially. But for those of us that are watching their weight and mindful of the calories, how many calories are in a serving of this?
Uh, there's only there's only 10 calories in it. So that was we saw some of the others that were 50 calories or more. We obviously were very cognizant to keep it low. So it's 10 calories in it. It's low calorie, high quality ingredients, and so we hit it kind of out of the park. If you want to know my personal opinion about it.
Well, what's the best way to take it? Is it first thing in the morning after a night out? Is it before I go out, while I'm out? And how much water do you recommend mixing it with?
Yeah, from the standpoint with it, I think 16 to 20 ounces, I believe, is probably the sweet spot. I believe that that's enough water to get the hydration for you to put it in. You obviously can do less. One of the things that we have noticed with the high quality ingredients, which is a good thing. I mean, it comes across. It's not clear. It has a little bit of a of a lemony look to it, which is nice. But it is something that you know high quality ingredients. You have to do a good stir. Get a good stir in there. But I would say that's the number, 16 to 20. You could take it morning, noon, or night. It has some calming features to it, which is wonderful. I take one in the morning and I take one before I go to bed. Is what I typically do. So I think you can take it whenever you feel like you want a little boost or a little something good in your life. That's when you can take it.
Well, I can easily see this product at the turn or on beverage carts at clubs around the country. What's your strategy for getting Hair of the Dog in the hands of golfers? I mean, do you think that it's just they find you on the website, or do you actually see this popping up and being on bev carts?
No, I think without it's interesting. So when we're looking at how to position this, it's one thing to say yes, it makes sense. Hair of the dog's a term with golf, and you have. I'm sure you played a lot of golf in your lifetime. You see the first tee and the 10th tee bar at almost every country club. I mean, is that the best one? No, but it is at every country club. So we have the name, which it gives us an advantage over the rest of the community. It's a funny name. It's something that people will gravitate towards. People will laugh. People will smile, and that's what's really nice about it. It'll be positioned in the in betweens, the pro shops. It could be on the beverage cart for sure. One of the interesting side notes that we've come up with here recently is we're talking about obviously it's a wonderful product. Its electrolytes are great, but sometimes in the turn or the in between, people are what's going to drive them is kind of hey, I want a vodka soda or I want a vodka soda with cranberry or something like that. And so basically, I came up with vodka hog, and so vodka hog is just using the H in the hair and the OG in the dog. And I came from it, so looking at Red Bull. But basically, vodka Red Bull was I thought, man, Red Bull really took off when it became synonymous with the bars. So I started talking to general managers and said, listen, it's an electrolyte product, but if you put this in a vodka soda, it tastes really good. It's something that just is a nice, refreshing lemon ginger flavor. It's wonderful, and from the clubs, you can charge for the ripping the package of the hair of the dog off, putting it in, and so it's a more profitable drink for you. It's also a very refreshing drink. So I actually think it has more flavor. So from the marketing, we talked about two different things. Have it in your pro shop, just Hair of the Dog is standalone. Have it in your in your locker room if you want. And then, but if you have it in your alcohol in between or on the 19th hole or out, and you just tell your, people that are selling it, hey, you want something really refreshing, try a vodka hog instead of vodka soda. And so if you can just change that mindset with that, that's a profitable thing for the country clubs. And so far, the GMs have thought it's a great idea.
Well, I want to bring this to the Springs. So let's say that we bring this to our next member guest. Are you
Yep.
looking to do that for, let's say, a group of 144 players at the Springs next summer?
Yeah, I mean, without question, that seems to be where we're getting the most traction initially is doing member guests. We have people calling us, every 2 3 days saying, "Hey, I've got a member guest. Can you get it in there?" And we can sell them as individual sticks. What we put together is kind of what we thought was a neat little package, and we can customize the package however they would like it to be. But it's funny. It's actually just a 5x7 mailer that we just put some sticks in there. Sometimes we'll put a high end Hair of the Dog ball marker in there or whatever, and it comes just nicely packaged. And so in their morning kit, in their morning kit that they have, we have a little nice little card inside. Hey, welcome to, and the one we just recently did is the Big Easy. So the tournament in Texas, like, hey, good luck at the Big Easy, member guests, and here, like, have some Hair of the Dog, have a vodka hog, or do whatever, and do Big Easy 15, for your next item at wherever. So it's a very well done, well put together package, member guest, and it seems to be very much of a hit, I guess, with the member guests so far. So yes, you will. That's where you will see it a lot to start, and then hopefully we can get into the retail market and the country clubs around the U.S.
Well, that packaging arrived right after the World Conference, and it was awesome. Like I was so impressed by it, and thinking about bringing it to the member guests. What are my options to maybe customize the packaging? Can I throw the club's logo or the club's name on the side? And I think that'd be really cool. And you talk about IV stations. We had one of our member guests this season, and our members were over the moon about being able to sit out and. I mean, it was also of all of the weeks, it was 110, 112 degrees for the 2 days they
Wow,
were out on golf course. But what
wow.
about customizing that packaging with my logo?
Without question, that's the thing, which is what we can do. We can customize obviously certain things. We can figure out what it is you want. We can put inserts in there with the customization. Um, it obviously depends on ball markers, how many would be, what time you'd want to do, how much lead time you do. But we 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 are looking at member guests as a way for your country club to create a nice, memorable product, but also for us, it's a great introduction to have 100, 150 potential new clients, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at it. And so we're going to do anything and everything we can to make your event look and feel spectacular. So I'm on a call tomorrow with somebody that has one, at the end of May. So we're looking to do exactly that. Customize how many days is it? Hey, you might need two a day, right? You might need whatever. So uh, that we're spending time, effort, and energy to make sure that this comes across as just a nice new change. And like you said, with the logoing the product, it is funny. And if you're out there in 115-degree heat, you need a little funny every now and then too.
Well, I tell you, it stays that way for about 100 days in a row. It's been a
Oh,
fairly calm enter into the summer ahead, but I just played in a golf tournament, and matter of fact, I met him through a member at my last club, and then I had him on this podcast, and then he invited me to play in his event. It's called the Shoopy Scramble, and it was a double shotgun. Took over 250 players at Desert Willow here in the Coachella Valley. I mean, I'm thinking about even that of going to of the folks that are hosting events like that to just get involved. Like the sky's the limit for you, I think.
yeah, it is. I mean, I think I for sure it is. With member guests, it's unlimited. I mean, I really don't think that they're. I just feel it, right? And sometimes I have to go with my gut, but anyone who sees the logo, the packaging, they laugh, they think it's great. The actual product itself is fantastic. It will work, and it will work very well in the country club market. It will work. It will work really well in the country club market, and it should be a major success for any club that wants to use it, and for any, obviously it'll benefit us. But we're looking at this as helping the club look and feel like they've done something nice for somebody. So that's kind of what we're trying to present to the club for the tournaments.
Can you walk us through your wholesale pricing and how that works?
Yeah, wholesale pricing. I mean, right now we're keeping it pretty simple. So we have a nice little uh, bag or box of 28 sticks, and it's minimum two boxes to purchase. They have refill bags that you can get if you want to put on it. But we try to suggest staying away from that a little bit because, obviously we want the brand to always stay great. We don't want the box to get beat up. But 28 sticks for $55 wholesale, and they can just go on the website and get it. We do have the option for wholesale member guests, different ideas, customization for there. But that right now we don't have a tremendous amount of products. It's on purpose. It's we don't want to build something the general public doesn't want.
You have a live chat feature on your website. Who is managing that, and what kind of questions are you seeing coming in?
Again, by Jenny. Jenny's leading the charge on that. That is she found one of these one of the great chat bots, which is great. We named him Spike. So he's our bulldog, and she's been handling the questions. She's been putting in the answers. She's been doing anything and everything she can. It's been wonderful. It's been a nice addition. Something when I initially looked at it, I'm like, that's cool. But then, and I guess this is AI. I guess this is all part of what can happen and how easily it can get done, how quick you can turn it into a great positive on your website.
Well, you're a former Major League Baseball player. That's pretty neat. Tell me more about that experience. What teams did you play for, and what position?
Yeah, so I started. I actually was an unsigned free agent out of Central Michigan University in 1988, and so basically went on and it was lucky enough to get signed by the Detroit Tigers, is where I was, growing and living at the time. So that was wonderful. Signed with them and got to the big leagues pretty quickly. I was in the big leagues 91, 92, 94, 95. I was with the Detroit Tigers for 2 years, the New York Mets in 1994, and the Texas Rangers in 1995. So obviously, back in that day, we needed to rally every day as well, but we didn't have stuff like this. So it would have been good to have that back in the old day, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up playing baseball, and then I got to high school and decided to go down the golf route. And I followed, and still to this day, kind of, I don't actively collect necessarily his memorabilia, but I have a pretty large collection of Ricky Henderson memorabilia. So I don't know if you know that name, but the
Oh
greatest base
yeah,
stealer of all time.
yeah, he's amazing. I mean, the old story of Ricky talking about Ricky, and he would always use his own name. Yeah, Ricky needs this, Ricky needs that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, but very good man. Incredible, incredible talent. I mean, there's not many people in the game that you can say was more talented than Ricky Henderson for sure.
Well, if I place an order, what about shipping? Is it complimentary? Do I have to spend a certain amount? And where's it coming from? I mean, you said you're based in LA. Is it coming from Southern California?
We were, you know, I've been in the business world for 20 years, and so I've developed kind of a very nice niche of high-end relationships. And I have a very good friend out in Utah, in Salt Lake, and so he kind of turned me on to, a lot of the multi-level marketing that was coming out of Utah. And they didn't really know that much about it, so I ended up making 4 or 5 trips to Utah. He was in the business, and he actually was in the manufacturing business. Introduced me to this company, and they take care of all things. Were taking care of our packaging. They were taking care of our manufacturing. They were taking care of fulfillment and sending stuff out. And I'm like, well, this is fantastic. This is wonderful. So ultimately decided to use them for all different things out of Utah. As far as shipping, uh, again, we're just stay competitive. We do free shipping. We do free shipping now. Currently, the only thing we're selling on the website is the product. We will add things. We will add more memorabilia. We will add shirts, different product that will be a price point lower. So we may come up with a minimum for free shipping. So If we have a 19.99 product, we'd have to say you have to get to $45 roughly for free shipping. We'll cross that bridge, but currently, if you go to our website, it is free shipping on anything that you buy through Hair Dog Life.
So I sit on the board of directors for the Golden State chapter of CMAA. We do 4 golf tournaments each year, and I mean they're pretty much sold out every single one. We have the next one's coming up actually here pretty soon, the first part of May. I'm just trying to think of ways that I can help get you and get this product in the hands of more club managers across the state and across the country.
Well, you say the word, and I can get you whatever you need for the event. That'd be fantastic. I mean, we can turn things around pretty quickly, and if you wanted me to put some mailers together there with some product, and if it's in the hands of GMs or anything, I'll ship product to you, and you can hand it out. I'll have my card in there, and they could give me a call. But no, that'd be fantastic. We would love to partner up on any capacity that you need us to, and I wouldn't mind coming out to one of the events either. Always good to get an excuse to go out and play somewhere.
Well, we've talked a lot about the ideal customer, but in your mind, when you were developing this, who was that ideal customer? Is it somebody that stays out and drinks too much, or is it somebody that works long hours? Like, I mean, I can see this also being beneficial for my wife and I are obsessed with the show The Pit, and they work like 12, 15-hour days. Like, they could benefit from this too.
Everybody can, and that's how it's kind of morphed. And so I guess what when you have one crossroad again, when we initially started Hair of the Dog, right? That was what we wanted to do, and then it didn't happen. So Hair of the Dog Life came in, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, and that's what got us thinking about it. And you're 100% correct. You don't have to drink. In fact, it's not necessarily one of the things, but you know, the individual, back to your original question, when we initially started this, I would probably say it was a 35-year-old person on up, right? It is somebody that is in a part of their life that you're grinding it out. You are grinding it out in whatever profession you're doing. You're grinding it out as a mom or dad, getting kids ready to for school in the morning and then go to work, or you're traveling for work, or whatever you're doing. And so that's kind of how this became about, and how we introduced. I think we now have five different dog characters. Um, Basically, one centered kind of on each vertical. Moms, or stay-at-home moms, or whatever that is, and you have the workaholics, and you have the construction person, and then we have the Dalmatian for the service people. So nurses, doctors, firefighters, policemen, ones that work long shifts, right? So we were able to customize each character and kind of fit a vertical. And back to the same thing, it's no matter what your job profession is or what you're going through in life, how hard it is, your Hair of the Dog is different than somebody else's, but we know that you'll rally. You're our type of client, and that's kind of the message that we want to get. And make sure that everyone understands that it doesn't have to be a bender till 2 in the morning that you have to get up to use Hair of the Dog.
When you were developing this product, what were your non-negotiables in terms of the ingredients and the performance and the branding? And as you start launching this product, are there any things that are just non-negotiable for you?
Uh, I think the ingredients package, when it came down to it, we were going to be a high end, even though kind of we were down in the trenches on the comedy. Uh, and I kind of I'll take Liquid Death. When we started to really head down this path of being edgy, being all these things, and we had a high end product. I'm like, man, this where, and then we really started to research Liquid Death, and it's like, huh, they're priced 30% higher than Fiji water. It's just water, but their marketing is crazier than anything else. And I'm like, okay, they're on the same path we are. And funny enough, I didn't even know the story until we were 6 months in or a year in on what we were doing. I didn't know what Liquid Death was doing, which was funny. We were just kind of doing it. We were playing on the edges because we knew no one else was playing the edges. Everyone else was playing right down the middle of the fairway. It's good for you. Take it for hydration. Do this, and then you're like, no, no, no. Life is tough. Life is hard. We want to laugh about it. We want to laugh as we're going through some of our misery, right? I mean, every mom and dad has been through a situation where they just want to just, oh, you kids, ah. But the next morning, they're getting you up. I love you, kids. I love you. I'm getting you lunch, and they're rallying. And so that's kind of where We are. So we didn't want to change that. We wanted to stay really true to our brand, really true to, let's say, that rally person, high ingredients, good delivery, good, I don't want to say the good for you because everyone says the good for you, but something that we're proud to say, hey, put us up. If you want. I had a buddy of mine who, at the country club was very funny, and he's like very skeptical and this and that. And so he basically took the whole ingredients, did whatever it is, put it in the chat, and the chat goes, "Yep, this is A plus, A plus." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So we really did well on putting together a really good product and playing on it in an area that I don't think any other hydration electrolyte companies even touching us on.
It's funny you talk about that. I just, for whatever reason, just doom scrolling on the internet a couple of weeks ago, I found this miracle drink. I put that in air quotes that includes turmeric and honey and red vinegar, like all these ingredients. And it's
Yep.
not really like it's good, but it's supposed to help my liver function and it's supposed to help me feel less bloated. And I wake up every morning and spend 5 minutes making this cocktail, and I don't even know if it's any good. But hey, the internet helped me and pointed me in the right direction. So.
Yeah, I mean that's and we're very careful on our marketing. I mean, we without question I am, believe it or not, I'm kind of pulling sometimes our marketing back a little bit because I don't want to say that we're this hangover cure. I don't want to say that we're this liver detox thing. We have a lot of good high-end ingredients. If you research them, do your homework on them, they'll all pan out. They will all have, good quality, good things that are told about it. But the story is like we don't necessarily know what you did last night, but we are a great first step for you, right? We're a great first step to start your day. Um, but we don't want to come off as this hangover miracle cure or this detox miracle cure. We just want to say we're a good first step for you. I can tell you that you can put us on chat, you can put the ingredients on, and we're a good first step no matter what it is. You should be looking at us as kind of your first step towards what you want to do that next day.
Well, looking ahead, what's next for Hair of the Dog Life? Are you expanding flavors, the product line, maybe even, a broader brand experience? I know you're just getting started, but you got to be thinking, the next 3, 6, 12 months.
Yeah, you're always. I mean, I think when initially we were approached, about I say I was approached, are you going to do two, three flavors? Are you going to do all these different things? And I said, listen, if you can't make the first one work, at least on some level, um, let's just see there. But yeah, of course, I mean, we have other two or three flavors lined up that we're working through formulation just to see where we're testing on what we're doing. We have some incredibly interesting, good merchandise. Um, there's some really good merchandise that we have, obviously with the logos and the branding that I think will stand out and will do well. I have some ability to get product placement in. So we definitely are thinking long term about what we're doing and what the next step is. I think at this point, let's get everything right. Let's make sure people when they order, it gets delivered. People, what's going on in this? How can we fix it? We just want to make sure that we get every step correct as best we can, and then we'll start looking to the next step. I think I watch some of the competition that's out there, and every week they're throwing out a new flavor, they're throwing out a new thing, they're throwing out something, and they're really not, in my opinion, really making sure that the customers is staying with them for the right reasons. And I think they may think, oh, another flavor will keep them from changing brands. We're hoping right now that you just become loyal, Hair of the Dog customer just due to, again, we want it to represent when someone sees the logo and sees the brand, that that's a person that you can count on. I mean, that's a person that's there no matter what's happened the day before, and that is something that you probably see in the high end, clothing lines, the high end thing. So it's like, wow, okay. And so we want to be that person. We want people to be prideful that no, I'm a Hair of the Dog. I'm rallied. I'm there. I'm there for you, and that's a good motto to have. So we want to get step one right. Want to get it out of the gates, but yes, we will head down the normal path of adding more flavors. We will release merchandise. We'll release our Morning After Legends line that will be coming out. There's many next levels and layers to this brand.
Where is the best place to learn more about you and Hair of the Dog? Is it the website, social media? Where should we go?
Yeah, I mean, our social media is kind of interesting for sure. So I mean, Hare of the Dog Life, Hare of the Dog Life, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the usuals, and then obviously the website's a good place to learn information, a lot about the ingredients, a lot about some of the the interesting stories. You learn about a morning after legends, things that are happening there. So yeah, we're in the normal channels and places like this where you can hear. And I thank you for the opportunity for us to talk a little bit further, and I appreciate this tremendously.
Well, I got to tell you, I text Daniel and he was like, "Oh my God, tell him I said hi." This is pretty funny. That connection is just wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Good man.
Well, let's you and me tee it up. We're just down the road from one another. You want to play your place? You want to play mine? Or we can do a home and home. What do you want to do? Let's go.
Let's do it. Well, I'll tell you what, you're getting close to the time where I try to stay away from the desert. It gets a little bit, although if you know what, it's funny. I grew up in St. Louis, and St. Louis used to be 95, 100 with humidity and stuff. So the one good thing is people aren't on the golf course, so I can pretty much bear any heat. So absolutely, Wilshire's, we were closed for 18 months, but the restoration project turned out fantastic. And so I'd love to have you out there to see the new place and see Daniel and we'll do a home and home for sure.
That sounds great. We put 16 million into our course last this past summer, and brand new grass on the greens, new bunkers. We had a pretty impressive project that was done really quickly too, because the we were one of two clubs in the Coachella Valley that had bent grass greens, and those are good when they're great, but they're not in the summer. So we've got a new grass type on our greens, and they're hard as a rock. But if you know that going in, just leave it short and chip and putt and hope for the best.
That I 100%. That's where we are at. We went from Poe to Bent, and we just basically did because the Poe was getting through. We got a nice running stream branch. We call it the Branca running through 14 holes. So uh, we wanted to make sure that when the water was coming, the Poe seeds weren't getting everywhere. So the Bent, and we built up the greens higher. So, but I'll have to have you out there. It's an amazing track right now. It's good.
Leaders are readers. No doubt you're a leader in this space. What book are you currently reading?
Funny. So there's two things. I actually sometimes just I I'm from Detroit, so they may not be the best books in the world that you would think about. But I mean, so I'm a huge historian on the Lions, learning a little bit about the Lions, and so I'm reading a book about that. And then I'm going to Scotland for a month to play golf. So I'm actually looking, reading that. So I got American Caddy of St. Andrews right now is a book I just get ready to start. I have never been to Scotland, so I want to learn all there is to know about the Scotland courses. I've just got a good contact into St. Andrews to play the old course, so I want to make sure that I'm all ramped up on Scotland history and everything there is to know there.
Well, you're going to have a blast. The old course, and if anybody ever says, "What's your favorite golf course?" it's that one because it has to be. And the
Right.
day that I played it, it was, I mean, I'm not talking perfect weather. It was 65, sunny, and there wasn't an ounce of wind. And I'm thinking, do I want it to be that, or do I want it to be, raining sideways and 45-mile-an-hour winds? And I'll tell you, you're going to have an absolute blast. Make sure you walk down to the Jigger Inn and get a cocktail. Make sure you stay and if you're there over a Sunday, the golf course is closed on Sundays, and walking across the Spoken Bridge, and you're in for a treat.
That's no, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's that's something definitely looking for, and is lucky enough one of my friends happened to become good friends with him, so they're setting it up to definitely do one or two rounds at the old course. So I can't wait.
Well, this might be the answer. It might be the old course, but who's in your dream foursome, and where are you playing?
Uh, Dream foursome, yeah, probably Tiger in his prime. So again, it can't be all at the same time. But I love, I'd take Tiger now too. But then Rory, obviously would be fantastic. And then like my dad and myself. My dad's got three hole in ones. I don't have any, even though I'm a much lower handicap than him. And funny enough, we had an amazing time at Pebble Beach, and I just find Pebble to be spectacular. Now, after going to San Andrews, it might be that, right? But we'll see. But the one that, from what I played, Pebble would be the one, just because. Fortunately for me, or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, I take in the whole scenery, right? I take in the ocean, this, that, all the things. And I know some people just take in of what the actual holds, but I can't find a better place in the world than Pebble. So that would be my foursome.
Well, I'm glad you put Tiger in there because I am Tiger's biggest fan, and I need you to be careful how you answer this one because we've become quick friends here. But Tiger is tied with Sam Snead, 82 official PGA Tour wins, and I honestly believe that if he doesn't clip that truck and flip that SUV, he played in the Masters and he was your next Ryder Cup captain. But whatever happened, happened, and let's move forward. But do you think that he can get one more win? I don't care about majors. One more victory before he retires.
You know what? I don't even want to say it. I say no, and I think it's because his ankle's so locked in. You know, there's so many pins at his ankle, he can't release off his ankle. I mean, I don't know how he hurt his Achilles, right? I mean, I don't know how that happened, but I can't believe someone would. I don't believe he'd be running. I don't believe he'd be doing anything crazy. I just think he's so injured. You know, so injured. He's just so injured. I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it. I live and die with him every time he tees it up and every time he's thinking about teeing it up. Um, I wish he would. Obviously, I wish he would do that, but I don't know. I mean, we've been saying it for a long time now, right? We've this. I don't know how many years you've been asking the question, but it's been a long time since he's got trying to get number 83.
I've been asking that since he got to 82, and I'm going to ask it until he gets to 83. And what I hope happens is that he gets to 83 and he just disappears. Like I don't even like majors are. I mean, he's got 15 of them. I mean, come on. There's guys in the Hall of Fame that don't have two.
Right.
I can't let him get that close and to be this big of a fan. And I do think that he's changed. I think his personality has changed. He smiles now, and he's got a different. Maybe it's his son's fault or the cause, but I just one more just to go out with 83. And I was born in 83. So I mean, I just thought of that. I never thought about that connection. So now he has to, Tiger. Come on.
Just do it for you. I get it. I mean, hey, uh, I would have bet a gazillion dollars he would have never won that Masters, right? So I mean, the last one he won. So again, yeah, can he do it for sure? I think it's obviously going to be on the course he's already done it on, right? I mean, just such local knowledge on everything. It's where it's going to ultimately be. But I would love to see it. I would love to. I hope he could just. And again, whatever he's going through now, um, if he can clean this up, I think that probably was hindering the last 5 years anyway, right? I mean, if he was, again, we're all speculating, but he got, the painkillers, which if you're on 20 surgeries and you have that, it's easy to happen. So potentially he was been playing, kind of, I guess, under the influence or something. So we haven't really seen potentially the whole Tiger yet, right? So if he can get clean, can get healthy, I wouldn't put it past him. I would not put it past him, man. I've seen some amazing things out of him, so I'm hoping just like you are.
Well, I know you're just getting started, but what's next for you and Hare the dog? What's the immediate future look like as you launch this new brand?
Uh, well, again, hopefully get step one done, which I think we're on the path, and then we're really going heavy into getting it into trying to get into every country club that we can. I mean, it is, I think, it is something that belongs in every country club. If we can make that happen, I do have a very good network of people that play a lot of golf at a lot of high end country clubs. So once I feel comfortable, I'll start to ask them to just make introductions. And the CMAA has been amazing, and from what I do hear is that it's a very close knit community, and if you do well for some of them, that word spreads fast. And I think this can be a product that we can get into a lot of clubs pretty quickly.
Well, one more reason to get you to the Coachella Valley. We have a local area network, and not to get too nerdy, but CMAA requires all of the chapters to have local area network meetings within their regions. State of California has 7 regions. There's a region here, the Roadrunner region in the Coachella Valley, and you're required to have 4 meetings per year. And because of how we're so seasonal, we've actually got 24 meetings planned this upcoming summer. And I know that because I am the local area network leader. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that there's a lot of opportunities as I'm thinking, like I'm making notes and trying to find people that I want to introduce you to. And I think that there's tons of opportunity. And I think that you and I should keep this conversation going because I just want to help get this into as many hands and as many clubs as possible. And I know you do too.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, if you ever need somebody, have been on the networking path, obviously being in finance, was part of different networking groups for 15, 20 years. So I understand how they work. If you want somebody or need somebody to come in and give a 10, 15-minute little thing on what, but listen, the hard part is it's a wonderful product. The GMs have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars decisions, right? I mean, they have new HVAC systems they have to do. So I like to, keep it all in its proper place. We're a nice thing that every country club should have. It's obviously not something any GM probably wakes up ever thinking about, but hopefully they can find some day because their day's stressful enough. So maybe we can bring a little chuckle into life and help bring some revenue to their club.
Step into the heart of Scotland with Eden Mill Scotland Experiences. Journey through the art of craft distilling, where tradition meets innovation. From blending your own gin to savoring the finest whiskies, every moment is a celebration of Scotland's rich heritage. Whether you're a whiskey enthusiast, a gin lover, or simply an adventurer at heart, Eden Mill offers experiences you'll never forget. Book your journey today and create memories to last a lifetime.
In golf, the 19th hole is a slang term for a bar or a restaurant on or near the golf course. It's very often in the clubhouse itself. What is your favorite? And maybe you haven't had it yet because you haven't been to the old course, but what is your favorite 19th hole and what are you drinking?
So the tap room, again, sitting at Pebble out there, or it's just sitting out in that, enjoying that. There's obviously Maidstone's got a wonderful beach club down there. I love anything where it's a good hang among the friends, and that's what, as golf brings. When you have good friends after a round, they there's nothing better. There's nothing in the world that you can not know somebody, never have met them, and you go play a round of golf with them, and you share stories and share things with each other that bring you close. And golf does it because you see the best of somebody, you see the worst of somebody, you see how they handle adversity, and it all just comes out very quickly. So it's the 19th hole is an amazing experience, and there's a lot of great ones. What am I drinking? Funny enough, I've started to drink vodka hog. I mean, I'll be honest, I have started to do that, but that's just recently. Believe it or not, my drink of choice a lot of times, if it's super hot, it's just usually just some nice beer, some nice draft beer. But a lot of times I'm a Jack and Diet Coke guy, and I don't know why, but that's kind of how life started for me. And just something about a nice little Jack and Diet is great. And we do vodka sodas. I mean, we do a lot of different things, but it's usually what company you're with, and obviously sounds like you have some great stories as well to tell on the 19th hole as well.
What a blast. Thank you so much for coming on this show and for sharing Hair of the Dog with me and with us. And it was great being down there in Anaheim and seeing this on the showroom floor. And just I'm really excited to see where this goes from here. And I hope I can help that in whatever capacity. But let's definitely stay in touch. Let's tee it up soon and bring some Hair of the Dog because we're probably going to need it.
Absolutely will, for sure. Thanks so much for your time, Rick. Pleasure.
That puts this instalment of the Wednesday Match Play podcast in the books. But we'll be back next week for another exciting episode of the show.